Aloha and welcome back. This is All Access and we still have a whole lot more to cover, so let's start with men's soccer to close out the home stretch. Let's go.
Following back-to-back NJAC conference losses, the Rowan's men's soccer team could not end its slide, falling 2-1 in the conference rival against William Patterson on October 18th. The home game was first for the Profs in exactly 2 weeks, which was also the team's last win over struggling Ramapo College. With the loss of William Patterson, Rowan dropped to a 3-4 in conference and even at 8-8 overall. Profs midfielder Parker Orris headed in goal at 15:33, but the lead would not last long as Pioneers midfielder Carlos Orvello knotted up the game with five minutes later. As the two teams batted, a score in the 87th minute from Pioneers back Marcus Hackett ultimately was the game winner.
Rowan men's soccer finally ended its struggles as the team posted a 4-0 shutout at home over SUNY Westbury. The October 20th victory ended Rowan's 4-game losing streak. In addition, the Profs' 4 goals matched their scoring total during the skid. After more than 30 minutes of scoreless action, back Dave Schwartz gave the Profs the advantage at 32-12 with the first goal of his season. Back Brendan McFarland notched consecutive scores in the 40th and 42nd minutes, and forward Jane Goyer added his second goal of the 2014 season at 76-09. All goal scorers for the Profs were reserves. Rowan, now 9-8 overall and 6th in the New Jersey Athletic Conference, heads to take on last in the conference New Jersey City on October 25th for the first of 2 conference games to end the season. Both games are away, where the Profs are 1-4.
On Saturday, the Rowan's women's soccer team took on NJAC rival William Patterson on the road. Rowan won in a dominant fashion 4-0. Sophomore midfielder Megan Cacciardi had 2 goals on the day, making her total 3 this season. They were back-to-back in the first being in the 47th minute and the second being in the 50th. Freshman Melissa Kelly and senior captain Erica Soul also added goals. Senior Victoria Camara had 3 of the assists. This win improves their record to 10-3-1 and their conference record to 5-1-1. Their next match will be Thursday, October 23rd at 7 p.m. against Lynchburg College.
On Thursday night, the number 3 ranked Lynchburg College Hornets came to Glassboro to face a dangerous Rowan Profs team. The Hornets proved why they are one of the top 3 teams in the nation by beating the Profs 3-0. The first half of the game saw all the scoring as Lynchburg forward Marina Clark notched the first goal for the Hornets at the 4:31 mark. Hornet midfielder Jade Wohl put 2 goals on the board at 19:38 and 25:42, giving goalie Tess Fredelick her 6th shutout of the year. Prof goalie Carly Trevino stopped 8 shots on the night. The loss drops the Profs to 10-4-1, while Lynchburg is sitting pretty at 18-0. The Profs have their last home game of the season this Saturday against New Jersey City University at 1 p.m.
The Rowan University women's volleyball team won over Keene University 3-2 in an NJAC matchup Tuesday night. Middle hitter Morgan Mendy led the Profs with 17 kills. Setter Mary Grace Tessa collected 22 assists, 7 digs, and 6 kills. In the deciding set, the score was knotted at 3. Rowan then produced 10 of the next 12 points for a 13-5 advantage. The set scores were 25-16, 25-25, 25-18, 15-25, and 15-9. The Profs are 13-13 overall, and they compete in the NJAC with a record of 6-2. The victory clinches a second-place finish for the conference.
The men's ice hockey team had a huge 11-3 victory over Rutgers University. Senior center Shane Brennan had a hat trick on the night, giving him 6 goals on the year. Right winger Alexos Polis had a fantastic game, scoring 2 goals and getting an assist. 14 Profs had registered a point on the night. 6 of those players earned multiple points. Rowan is now 4-1-2 on the season, while the Scarlet Knights fall to 2-3. Next up for Rowan is a tough matchup against Penn State University.
The Rowan University women's ice hockey team had a huge win against Columbia University this past week, winning 9-1. 6 of those goals came in the second period. Offensively, the Profs were led by senior forward Laura Godremus and Dana D'Angelo, who each had 2 goals and 1 assist on the night. Forward Jesselyn Wright also had 2 goals on the night, giving her 4 on the season. Rowan totaled 37 shots in the game, while the Lions only had 12 shots. Forward Sylvia Ictrisis only had 1 goal for Columbia, while Effie Ictrisis got the assist on the play. Rowan improves 2-0 on the season, while the Lions dropped 0-1 to start the season. Next up for the Profs is a 2-game series against Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Now we'll toss it over to Pete Ignorato talking Rowan hockey with Benny Pinella.
All right, thanks, Chris. I'm here once again with Benny Pinella, and the topic of discussion is Rowan hockey. Now, Benny, Division II right now, they're sitting at 3-2-1, and Division III is sitting at 6-1-2. I wanted to get your gauge on both of these clubs because one appears to be underperforming just a little bit, while one might be exceeding expectations. As we sit here today, has Division II surprised you with a just over 500 record?
They have in a couple of senses, in the sense that they've played some good competition, but they haven't really hit their stride yet. Last year, they lost their opening day. They went on a reel off 11 straight. Yeah. I kind of got the feeling they were going to do something like that this year because, I mean, that Maryland game, you play that again, opening night, they'll beat them every time. They had a heartbreaker in Montclair where they lost in overtime. Really, they lost a lot in overtime, which kind of saved their season a little bit because you still get points. But D2, I get the feeling they're on their way back up. Their coach, Caulfield's amazing, great guy. And they have a little bit of a discipline issue. I think they've addressed that a little bit. The leaders have kind of taken over and stepped up and said, listen, you know, when you're up 5-0, there's no need to check hard. There's no need to get in fights. And, I mean, they were a little bit chippy in those games. You can't do that.
You know, throughout every course of any season in any sport, we always look towards a guy that we'd say, wow, where would this team be without him right now? You know, what name would you insert into that category?
For D2, it's Doherty. Andrew Doherty is the guy. When he's on the ice, they play with confidence. They play a lot better. He's a good puck-carrying defenseman. I mean, he's a great kind of quarterback to have out there in the terms of a hockey sense. Brings the puck up, sets the offense up. Guy's got a slapper that I love watching a slapper. Haven't heard a slapper like that at the D2 level ever. For D3, it's DeMonte. I mean, you know, the D3 is really deep, but Daniel DeMonte, you know, leads the team in goals, like 13. The Bell brothers, they do pretty well, but when DeMonte goes off, it kind of sets the other team up, and then they go on, they score like 10 goals. D3's playing very well.
Benny, you've had a first-hand look. Division II, where they're set up right now, is this team capable of making some type of run? I mean, have we seen enough out of them? Have they underperformed is the first part of that question. And the second part is, if they have, do you see them taking that next step and sustaining some type of success down the stretch?
To answer the underperformed question, it's a little bit of a yes and no. I think we expected a lot, but we're going to get it, but it's just not putting itself together right now.
Okay.
They can go on a run. I mean, you know, this Penn State game coming up this weekend, Penn State and St. Joseph's, they can beat Penn State and beat St. Joe's. They have 2 wins right there, 2 big conference wins. That'll move them right up in the standings. Now, conference wins don't kind of apply that much in the ACHA, but that's points. That's 4 big points right there. Get you back up out into the top 20, maybe even top 15. They can do something like that. They can go somewhere. D3, they're already on top. They just need to keep playing really well. East Stroudsburg's a big game. That's the number 2 team in their conference. They beat East Stroudsburg. That's a 2-game advantage.
Both teams, as the season progresses, they're going to have to look towards, I'm sure, some of their defensemen, because that's a big thing in hockey. Who holds the stronger defensive core right now out of Division II or Division III?
In terms of talent, I mean, Doherty he's a decent defensive player for D2. I have to say D3. They're not letting up a lot of goals. They're on the lower end of 3 per game. It's dropping. D2, they have a solid defense. I'm not knocking them at all, but you know, in terms of they have the it guy in Doherty, D3 has a lot more talent there than just one guy. You know, it's still early in the season, which is why it's tough to judge hockey teams because you have to kind of look in around 10, 11 games into the season. Then you kind of get your feel for things, and you know, we'll see.
All right, Benny, we'll certainly be following both of these clubs as the season moves on. Thank you for stopping in today, okay?
It was a pleasure.
That's all the time we have for you this week. On behalf of Sandra Hill, Maria Brosco, and Chris Sharnicle, and the entire All Access team, we'd like to congratulate head football coach Jay Accorsi on his 100th win as a field hockey head coach, and Penny Kemp on her 250 career win. We'd also like to thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Good night, everybody.